In this tutorial, I will show how to make a 3D voxel model using MagicaVoxel, which is a free program. You can download it online. And then we will import this into Blender, which is another free program. You can download it using Steam or their own website. And finally, we will import this model into Unity and use it there. I have only tried it with Unity, but I assume this workflow will work with any major game engine. I'm not going to cover how to use this tool in this video, but it's pretty intuitive. You can delete stuff and then you can first attach some cubes. And then if you want, you can paint them to different sides and different faces. But just to save some time, I will use one of these pre-made files that the project comes with. The only point I want to make is if you want to be able to separately move certain pieces of the model, you should separate them. So if we can select them first and then just move them around. This is actually too small, so we can first make this bigger. Yeah, now I can first quickly select a part. So I would suggest, like, if I want to be able to move the X separately and then move the arm separately, it's good to just move them away. I also need to move this, move the arm here. So I've separated the arm, the other arm, and the X. So once we have this, you have a couple options to export. You can export this file now as the object or PLY. I know object is something you're probably more familiar with, but as I'll show in Blender, it doesn't actually work as well. So I suggest exporting it as the PLY format. So when we import in the OBJ file, you can see that in the edit mode, like the cubes are kind of messed up. Like you have this like one massive cube here and then one long one here. We don't really want that. Like we want to be able to finally control it like cube by cube. But instead, if I drag in the PLY file and go to edit mode, you'll see that all the cubes are perfectly defined. So now we want to add the color of this thing in first. So that's the easy one. The PLY file actually includes the color. So we can just create a new material and then here click Shift A, type in color attribute. And then the source COL color should already be there. And then when you drag it in, the object will be colored in. But there's a problem, and that is that there's like overlapping vertices. So if I move these vertices away, you can see that there's like 4 vertices taking up the same space. Not only is this wasteful, it doesn't work properly. If I want to like select this whole X, it doesn't really work because Blender is not really aware of the connections. So the easy solution to that is you select all with A, then you hit M to merge by distance. But then now you'll see that the colors will get all messed up because I think something about the distance of the vertices doesn't really work with the voxel kind of flat shading. So what we need to do is we need to take that back. Now we're back. We first need to create a new image texture, and then we go to the render. We hit the render engine cycles. You can use your GPU as well, but I'm just going to use a CPU because it's like simple shading. It doesn't take that much. You go to bake. And then first of all, we need to create a new image texture to save this into. So I'm just going to call this bake text. And then you need to use the diffuse bake type. You don't need direct or indirect. Just color is fine. And then now in the object mode, I switch with tab. You can select your object and then you can hit bake while this bake texture is also selected. It'll say that there is no UV layer found, which is fine. You just need to go back to here, edit mode with tab, select all with A, hit L or hit U, I'm sorry, before UV mapping. And you start the smart UV project and then you unwrap it and then you go back to shading and then now you bake it. Oh, we gotta select the object. Now that the baking is done, we can see our texture here with all the colors. So now we can just connect the color to this principal node. But there's going to be a tiny problem. You can see that when you zoom in, there's all these colors bleeding over from cell to cell. And if you don't want to have this, all you have to do is go back to layout, edit mode, again, select everything, hit U, start smart UV project. You need to add some margin, very tiny, like just 0.01 is enough between those cells. So now, if I go back to shading, we need to go back to the original color. So I'm going to just put the color attribute back. And I want to bake it again. So I'm going to choose my object, choose my texture, hit bake again. Now look at this. There's no gaps between the colors, but when it's done, you see these gaps created by the island margin. So now when we connect them over, as you can see, there's no change, no color bleeding whatsoever. The one very important part is these textures aren't saved automatically in Blender. So you can do this in many tabs. You can do it in like the painting tab, whatsoever. But in here, you just need to find the image, and then you need to hit save as, and then just save this as, you know, in the same location, just as baked texture. So now we save that. And now if you want to see the color, by the way, you just need to go to this viewport shading. So now the color is here. Now we can go edit mode, select everything. We hit merge by distance. And now, even though we have merged the vertices together, so there's no more like duplicate vertices, the shading is still perfectly fine. So now the nice thing is, if I mouse over a part and press L, it will select all the linked vertices. So in the edit mode, if I hit L, it selects the X, so I can move it with G. Similarly, you know, I can hold this whole arm with L and move it around. So this works pretty nice if you want to start animating and whatever, which I won't cover in this video, but I will make another video about it. And then now that this is done, we can save this file. And I'm gonna save it in my Unity project, because when you do that, I'm just gonna save this as a chibi night. If you do that, you will be able to like just make changes in Blender. It will get automatically reflected in Unity. So for example, if I go back to Unity now, in that folder I just saved, my night is here. It won't have colors because the texture file is not there, because I saved it somewhere else. Just find that file and drag it in here. See, now it automatically picked up the bake texture for the model. And now I can just drag this model in. It is in my scene, and it's working fine. It will come with its own camera and light though, which is not ideal in my opinion, because I want to use my own Unity camera. And similarly, sometimes the blend file imports might error out. You might see some red messages here. In that case, what I suggest is just literally delete the light and the camera and then save it, because we don't really care for those anyways. And now the nice part about Blender is, if I, for example, hold this X and move it to the other side and just save it, it will be reflected in Unity automatically. Here, the X moved to the other side. And that's all. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.